Police Minister Fikile Mbalula, along with the SAPS, was currently briefing the media on the preparations regarding tomorrow's planned march by the opposition parties. Let's get live to the proceedings.
In the main, the protesters responded positively to government's call to exercise their right responsibly. However, the sporadic incidents of violence which did occur are to be condemned. As the Minister of Police, I was greatly pleased that no member of the South African Police Service acted in a manner that was unprofessional and contrary to our values and ethical standards we seek to uphold. The South African Police Service members were deployed in all protest areas and they executed our policing mandate, ensuring that all participants and bystanders were guaranteed a safe and secure environment in which they could express their rights. It is also important to note that before the protest actions of the 7th April 2017 took place, there was some confusion over the legality of the protest. According to Section 4 of the Regulation of Gatherings Act 1993, Act 205 of 1993, the South African Police Service is but one role player in deciding on whether or not to authorize planned protest action. When authority is not granted, the convener has the right to turn to the courts of our country. For the march planned for 12 April 2017, we have been informed that authorization was granted to opposition parties and the conveners. The SAPS members, together with other government departments, law enforcement agencies and stakeholders, will once again be deployed to maintain law and order and to keep South Africans safe. Again, government urges protesters to exercise their rights in accordance with the law without resorting to violence, criminality, and damage to property. We call upon protest organizers to ensure that the protest actions are peaceful and do not infringe on the rights of others. Intimidation of South Africans who choose not to join the protest will not be tolerated. Many people died for the rights we exercise today. Many fought for a free democratic South Africa where the rule of law reigns supreme. These rights must never be exercised without observing the responsibilities that accompany them. I thank you.
Firstly, we would want to echo what the Minister said in expressing our appreciation to all who participated in last week's march, which in the main was very peaceful. And at the same time express our appreciation to members of the South African Police Service and law enforcement agencies for having delivered a safe one once again. And we are looking forward to an orderly march tomorrow. And we will call upon all those that are to be participating to be responsible in what they are doing, and as always, members of the service to exercise restraint in policing marches of this nature. Barry, we unfortunately do not have any information on a counter march and or protest action at this stage. We take it that that is going to remain the case, and that everyone will respect the rights of those that will be participating tomorrow. If any such counter march were to become a reality, we will do what we are supposed to be doing, since our policing is not only focused on legal marches, but even illegal ones we will do so. but for record purposes, we do not have any information on anything planned other than what has been approved at this stage. So, simply put, we do not foresee, a situation arising out of tomorrow's march. Graham, when you are dealing with an influx, you obviously deploy accordingly. While we are not going to be giving numbers away, we can assure the nation that members of the South African Police Service and law enforcement agencies will be deployed to facilitate the process. But at the same time, while we will take our rightful positions as law enforcement agencies in policing the march, we call upon the conveners and those that are responsible for organizing the march to deploy their marshals in numbers so that the situation is not getting out of control. The success of this march is dependent on us as the police and the communities working together. So deployment will be adequate in response to what is before us. Valdi, I've already dealt with the element of whether retaliatory marches and so on. Offense, I think we will not have extraordinary measures for a certain group of people. We plan to police the march and or the protest action accordingly. There will obviously be contingency measures if the situation were to demand a different response, irrespective of who is making him or herself guilty of that. The police will act accordingly. So we do not have a different package if, for example, EFF is marching and say this is what we are going to be doing. No, we stick to the basics in terms of managing the situation, and to us it's immaterial whether it is EFF or whoever does what goes against the spirit of the law. We will act accordingly, but we trust that the march is going to be peaceful. We will deploy accordingly to be able to deal with the situation that may erupt. In terms of the numbers of last week, our records shows over 70,000 people have participated. Now, I know that that figure was disputed when the ministers did the briefing on Friday. To us, it's a non-issue. What is more important is the fact that the marches that were policed successfully on Friday. You can't get the numbers 100% correct. Even on Friday, when I was shuttling between Pretoria and Johannesburg, I saw people on the bridges. Now, I don't know whether those people would have been added to the numbers that are unofficially communicated, but from our side, 70,000 plus were the number of people that participated in those marches. We have spoken before on the Lituli House gathering on Friday, and we have said that people were called to Lituli House, and it was not a march, and whatever went into the space of the march will be dealt with accordingly by the police. I think, Minister, those the issue of the roads. The road, obviously, they convene at what is it? The Church Square, and they will be going towards the union buildings, and that communique as to the route and so on, we will leave it to the Metropolitan Police Department. Safe to say that we will do the necessary in as far as coverage is concerned. Tomorrow it's not holiday, so business will be operating, and as we are sitting here, we trust that people are going to be cooperating, and there is no need to disrupt the businesses. It is a normal day. Attacks on journalists, if there is any attack directed at you, like any ordinary citizen, you are more than welcome to have the matter reported to the police. It will be investigated. If you have got video footage or whatever evidential material, we will request that such be deposited with the investigating officer for the cases to be dealt with accordingly. That's it, Minister.
Yes, just to add on the issue that last week people gathered in many places, and they gathered in certain instances without permission. In that particular instance, they gathered peacefully. If you look at Beyers Node and some of the bridges in Gauteng, there was no violence. And there was no need to tamper with those people because they were not doing any act of violence or vandalism. But South Africans must learn to respect the law in all spheres and across the political divide. What provoke, not even provoke, necessitate police action is instances in which people act outside the law. And they either promote violence, they become provocative to others. For instance, the police had to unleash rubber bullets downtown because people were not gathering in the place they said they will be gathered. And then they were moving to the other side. So police had to intervene to prevent that. And in this instance, everybody must be respected. And in this particular instance, no act of violence will actually be tolerated. I think it must be kept as such, and South Africans continuously demonstrate that things can be done and your voices can be heard without any act of violence. And in this particular instance, we must maintain it in that way. Any form of violence, it will force the hand of the police in terms of dealing with those elements, agent provocateurs that seek to promote violence and undermine the peaceful march of those who are marching for whatever that they are marching about.